I'm gonna try and get your hair bun in it because it's cute.
Thank you. Should I sit further back? I'm on a crack. Should I sit over here or should I sit? Should I sit on the crack?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I talk to the camera or to you?
Either one, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Hi, I'm Katelyn. I'm 20 years old. I am a sophomore at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I'm from Blaine, Minnesota. My major is Communication Sciences and Disorders, is what we call it at my school. So with that major, you can go on to grad school to become a speech language pathologist, which is what I want to do, or an audiologist. I'm a dancer. I love to tap. It's one of my favorite things in this life. I'm also very passionate about elephants. Also, I love Disney, obviously. I found out about the Disney College program through watching YouTube videos. Mackenzie Brown was the first Disney YouTuber that I found, and basically the only one that I watch. And that's how I found out about the program, and I just decided to apply because why not? And I talk more about this on my channel, so go check out my channel.
Katelyn's channel will be linked in the description below. Also, you can say it right now.
My channel will be linked in the description below. Thank you, Brittney.
Do over your channel name.
It's just my name. It's just Katelyn Hoover. This was my second time applying to the program. I applied for fall 2018, and I applied after my first semester of college, and so I figured who's gonna accept me? I'm a little baby freshman. I wasn't expecting much, and I didn't hear anything back at all until I got rejected. So I mean, it was still definitely hard, but I wasn't really expecting much. This summer, when I saw that applications were open again, I figured why not? Whatever, I'm just gonna keep applying until I get it or I can't apply anymore. And if it's meant to happen, it'll happen, and now here we are. So I work in Bell Services as a dispatcher, and you may be wondering what that means. I wondered that too, and I still wonder what my job is sometimes. A lot of my job is saying no to people because half of my shift I work in the lobby at the Bell stand right across from the front desk at Coronado Springs Resort. And it does differ depending on which resort you're at. But when I'm at the Bell stand, I'm answering guest questions, I'm giving them directions to places around the property. It's a lot of answering random questions. I'll take their bags if they're coming and they're checking in but their room isn't ready yet. Stop laughing at how I say bags. I'm trying really hard to not say it with my Minnesota accent. So I'll collect their bags and they'll come over and they'll say, hey, we're checking in and our room isn't ready yet. And so I grab their bags and I write their name on them and give them the tag, whatever, give them the spiel that you can give us a call, press the Bell Services button on the phone in the room when you're in the room later tonight, and we'll send a bellman up with the bag. Another thing that people do is they need me to set up their Magical Express, which is the bus that takes you to and from the airport. It's a complimentary service. So I get that set up and I answer people's questions, and I sometimes print out people's boarding passes for their flight if there isn't much going on. The other half of my shift, I'm in the luggage room, which I enjoy a lot more personally. So down there I'm answering the phones and I'm actually doing the assigning of the orders, the dispatching part. So I go through the list and I see which bellman is available and assign it to the order, prioritizing check-ins and checkouts and any sort of luggage over things like escorts, because at Coronado we have such a big property. It's the same size as the Magic Kingdom property, that a lot of people want to ride to their room, but of course luggage deliveries come first over that, and the bellmen don't always like to do escorts depending on who it is because people don't always tip. That's one thing I hear a lot from my bellmen, is that people do not tip. So make sure that you're tipping your bellman. I do enjoy my job. Some days are definitely difficult, but I think that's the same for any job beyond Disney, but especially within Disney there are some difficult days and some difficult guest interactions. But there are some really special moments too. Like for me, I'm learning sign language, and so something that's really special to me is when I have deaf guests. I've been able to interact with a few, and I'm still learning, so it's really fun to be able to practice and use the little knowledge that I have and to gain more knowledge from the guests. And I had one guest in particular who I worked with her through her whole week staying there. I'm now in contact with her, and I just think that's such a cool thing that you might not necessarily get if you're working at the parks.
And she got a lot of grape sodas and recognition for it.
I like interacting with the other people within the bell services team. There's not a lot that are CPs. It's me and this one other girl at my location. So the team at Coronado, they're like, whoa, we're getting two CPs this time. Like, wild. So, but I'm very thankful that the girl I work with, her name is Tyler, and she's wonderful. I love her. She's super energetic and fun, and it definitely makes the shift a lot more enjoyable whenever we work together. So I like my coworkers. I like the freedom that comes along with the role. For me, I get to take my breaks sort of when I want. I get in and my other coworkers say, okay, what time do you want your break? And we just sort of figure it out ourselves on what works best. And because sometimes it's like, oh, I've been working, 5 hours and I haven't had a break yet, but we've just been so swamped that I can't take my break yet. But other times there's just nothing going on, and so it doesn't really matter as much. If I need to say, hey, can you stay at the bell stand? I'm gonna go and make some balloons for some kids in the lobby. I can go and do that. I can make magical moments and things like that people don't always get to do. But I still do get yelled at. It's still difficult. If they want a bellman to take them to their room, that it's going to be about a 20-minute wait because they're all out on runs doing things. Because like I said, we have to prioritize. Those people that ask for a ride are typically the ones who they don't want to wait. They want to go right now. And that's fine. That's valid. It's just that I can't do that for them at this moment, and they don't like to hear that. Definitely the hardest part of my job is saying no to guests, because that's another thing too, is I'm in the same area as the front desk. So people just assume that like I can check them in, I can sell them park tickets. There's like things like that which I don't have access to those systems or capability or training to do so. And they just see this super long line that they don't want to wait in, and that
Then they see you and your
they
beautiful
see
face.
me and they come over and they say, can you help me? And I say no. Or they come over and they say, hey, they said I can give you my bags. But then I have to say, no, actually, can you take it down to the luggage room, which is outside, out the front doors and down the sidewalk on your right, because my cart is full and nobody else is going to come and get this cart for me, and I can't leave the bell stand because I'm by myself. So you have to do the work and you have to take your luggage out there. And now we're doing the whole thing that Disney doesn't want us to do, where you just get past the guests between cast members. All of my shifts are either 6-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts. The bell services shifts at Coronado, at least, the earliest start time is 6:30, and then the latest end time that you could have would be, as I like to say, midnight 15. So there's 2 morning shifts, mid-shift, and then there's 2 closing shifts. So I typically work 32 to 36-ish hours a week. I've had maybe 1 or 2 weeks where I've worked a full 40, but I don't typically work a full 40, which is nice because I am taking a class online, and with the busing and how long that takes, it still feels like I don't have a ton of free time. Because on my days off, as much as I want to go to the parks and play and do all of that, I also still need time to have that downtime to relax and take care of myself, as I have learned through being sick and exhausted here and there.
Speaking of which, what happens if you get sick or you want a personal day, and what are points in the Disney College program?
Points are these tricky little things that you get when you are late to work or you call out of work. I was sick, like pretty sick, not like just like a cold, like I was pretty sick twice, 2 different times. I'm not exactly sure how the point system works, and I feel like nobody really is. So
That's kind of true.
Take this with a grain of salt. I think that being late is a half a point, and that being sick is 1 full point.
It depends on how late you are. I think every 15 minutes that you're late, if you don't call out, is half a point.
Right. I'm not exactly sure. So for me, when I was sick, what I did was, the first thing that I did was I called the front desk. So, like, through there, I got in contact with Bell Services because the call center is stupid. That's another thing, too, about my job, is I'll get calls and people will be like, they'll ask a question that has nothing to do with my department at all. And I'm like, I don't know how you got to Bell Services, but this is not who you need to be talking to. I'm sorry. Then I get connected to the leader, and then I just go, hey, Sean, it's Katelyn. I am dying. What can you do? Because most of the time when I was sick, I literally, like, I had a frog in my throat. I had no voice. I had 103-degree fever. I'm like, you don't want me to come into work. So I called them, and when they had an ADO, which is an approved day off, when they have an ADO to give me, they would give it to me. So some of the days I was able to get covered with no penalty, but then, like, other days they didn't have any ADOs, so I just had to go on the hub and do call-in sick and get a point from that. So between the 2 times that I was sick, it was within a 30-day period. So I was close to getting a reprimand, but then they were able to fix it or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but they were able to fix it so that I didn't get a reprimand, which was nice.
I do believe that one thing they can do is make all of your sick days count as 1 point if it's in a, like, single period of time.
Yeah.
So they might have done that where they condensed it to 1 point for, like, the one you were sick for a while.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to Katelyn for doing this amazing 20-minute interview. I just grilled you for literally 20 minutes.
That's
and
okay.
You just sat there and took it, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
she's one of my favorite people, and she's amazing, and I'm really lucky to have her as a roommate. So
if you made it this far, thanks for listening to me and, like, looking at this, because wow. And if you actually didn't hate this, go check out my channel. You can just look up my name, my first and last name. Brittney, I'll put it on the screen. Here's my first and last name. And my Instagram and whatnot. Go check out my things.
You heard it here, folks. What? You heard it here first. I have a concussion. I'm fine.
My child/father.
We have a weird family tree.
It's okay.
All right, bye.